Welcome back to Double A FC. I am Double A. Clue is in the title. It's been a tough week to be a Manchester United fan, and this is what day am I filming this? Tuesday. We played on Sunday. It's already been a tough week for Manchester United. It's been a tough year. It's been a tough 18 years if you wanted to go that deep. But we've not got the time. I've not got that much time to spend talking about all the problems at Manchester United. But since Sunday, since the defeat against Arsenal, I've wanted to stay off social media. It's kind of one of them where, do you know when you've been out on a night out and you've done some silly drunk text? Maybe have you ever been on a works night out, right? And you've got a little bit too drunk. You've had one too many rums, beers, whatever, your tipple of choice, whatever it is. You've had a few too many. You've probably said something to Leanne in HR. Probably shouldn't have said it. Or, Dorothy in the kitchen. Do you work in a school? I don't know. You've said something silly anyway. And Monday morning, you're kind of like, I just need to stay clear. Probably throw a sickie or something like that. That's how I feel about Manchester United. I feel at the moment, you just have to stay away from social media in that. I just don't want to see something or hear anything else of what a mess this club is, or what a mess you've made of that night out with your colleagues. That's how I kind of feel. Like, I just don't want to hear anything else about United coming out. There's too many situations going on at the moment. But this video, I probably should start as well. I've got straight into it. I've not even said, please smash a like on the video. How have I got this far without saying smash a like on the video? Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. That would be absolutely fantastic. Become a supporter or a team member. Should we be team members? You can be my member, is what I'm saying. If you want, let's just say that from the jump. You can be my member. That being said, share it with people who also want to be a member. Yeah. So Manchester United and where we are at the moment, where I feel we are, we're a mess. But the situation I want to talk about is really the Jadon Sancho situation. I feel I've been a little bit outspoken. I did a video, obviously I do the Unfiltered podcast with Saeed and Flawless and Andy Tate, big up them guys. And I was quite irate. It was Sunday, it was not long after his statement come out, after what Ten Hag had said. And I was probably feeding on a little bit of emotion, more so than clarity and thinking clearly and processing everything in the information. And sometimes that's wrong, and I think, but sometimes that's right as a football fan. You live off that passion and that emotion and that love for your football club, and consistently seeing Manchester United's name being dragged through the mud by players, by owners, by directors, by the people in charge, by anyone, ex-players, people in the media, just dragging this club's name through the mud consistently it's tiring. And I feel I'm just bored of it. I'm bored of Manchester United constantly having to fight to be a football club rather than a drama. An episode of EastEnders, an episode of Coronation Street, whatever you soap you watch, Hollyoaks, whatever it is. It feels like Manchester United right now is just constantly a mess, and I'm really fed up of it. And with the Sancho one, I'm really upset because he's a player that I've really fought for. Whatever channel I'm on, whatever podcast I'm on, Spaces, videos on this channel. I think one of the first videos I did was 5 players I think need a big, massive season at Manchester United, and he was number one, Jadon Sancho. And I fought for him consistently because I know the talent that is there and the player that is there and could be for Manchester United. And we haven't seen it consistently. We haven't seen it to the level that we would expect, and outside to the level of the price tag that is hanging over his head, rightly or wrongly. And listen, I wanted a big season for him because you saw in pre-season Ten Hag was using him as a false nine. I think personally that was maybe a ploy to say to the owners and the people above Ten Hag, I need a 9, guys. You've not given me a striker. Harry Kane isn't going to happen. I want Højlund. What are you doing? And we've seen it with past managers. Mourinho used to do it all the time with United and other places and other teams he's been at. He would constantly play players out of position to say to the board, sign me this player. This is who I want. And I feel Ten Hag was doing that to an extent with Sancho, and he did a good job, but he wasn't pulling up any trees, was he? He wasn't the answer. He wasn't a player you thought you could play the false nine position forwards consistently, regardless of how well you may think he did and how he actually did this pre-season. So, whether he feels, he's been belittled by the manager, he's been lied to by the manager, or he feels he's going to lose either way, whatever he does in training or in the cameos that he gets, he's always going to be fighting a losing battle because of players that Ten Hag wants to play ahead of him, or because he's not a player that Ten Hag signed or really may want. That's absolutely fine. And you talk to your manager and you believe this conversation's already been had, and he's shown his frustrations or told his frustrations to the manager already. And I just feel coming out and saying something straight after the manager has said something is wrong. It doesn't matter if you feel you have been betrayed or someone's lied on your name, someone has said something against you that is wrong. I absolutely agree. You should be upset, aggrieved, and maybe even angry, and that's fine. What I think you should do is show the attitude of a professional footballer and an athlete and a grown-up, really. I'm going to say it, a grown-up. You speak to the person. If you spoke to him already, speak to him again, and you clear the air that way, because I don't believe Ten Hag would say something when asked a question about Sancho. I don't believe he would lie to that extent. I just don't think he'll do it. And whether I could be proven wrong in the future, but I'd like to believe the manager wouldn't do that to a player without there being level of truth to it. It may not be to the level that Sancho thinks or Ten Hag is actually saying, but I just can't see there being no truth in it whatsoever. Why would Ten Hag throw a spanner in the works and cause issues in the squad if he didn't feel Sancho wasn't hitting the right levels that he wanted? And then it's fine for Sancho to believe that the manager is wrong, of course, because you go into work and you hope and you believe you give 100% every single time, or that's what you'd expect people to do. It doesn't always happen. I'm sure you work with people in your life and you think, you are stealing a wage, my friend. Phil Jones, like for instance, you are stealing a wage, my friend. What do you do when you're here? You're just not putting in the effort. And Sancho probably doesn't believe that's true, and that's fine. And I'm not going to go into the past reports of this issue maybe being a problem for him. I'm not going to get into that. All I can judge him on is as a Manchester United player, and that's all I want to do, really. I don't care about City. I don't care about Dortmund or England at all. So with Ten Hag, Sancho may feel he's given 100% every single week, and that's absolutely fine. Or every single training, it doesn't really matter. But Ten Hag's the manager, and if you're not reaching the levels that Ten Hag wants from you, who are you to argue? He's the manager at the end of the day. He picks the team. He knows what he's looking for from his players every single training session. And if you are not hitting the heights and satisfying your manager, it doesn't matter what you think. And the manager has to tell you, do it this way. I want you to be here. You are here. I want you to be here. Yes, Ten Hag probably could have done it a better way. Maybe not have said it in the public eye. But the managers say things. The managers always say things. And maybe it's a sign of tough love. Releasing a statement straight away and then pinning it as your top tweet or X on social media, for me, is 100% the wrong way to do it. The 100% shows the wrong attitude. And I guarantee it's not the attitude that Ten Hag wants from his players or players he believes can add value and be trusted within this squad. You just don't do it. And I'm sick of hearing people on social media and on other videos saying, well, if my manager did that, I would say the same thing. It's not the same, mate. You work in Burger King. If your manager, Ian, is saying that you don't flip burgers well, you're not going to take to Instagram and tell him, oh, Ian, my manager says I don't flip burgers well when I do flip burgers well. You're not going to do it, are you? You're going to sit down and you're going to have a chat with him. You're going to air it out. That's the way it is. As someone in the public eye, an athlete, it's not the way to do it. It's not professional. It's not seen as professional to jump on social media straight away and try and defend your name. It's not the thing to do at all. You know, there's a video going around of Paul Scholes, and he's talking about when United signed Varane, and he was worried about his own place in the team. And he said, I could have gone into the manager and said, I've had enough, I want to go. But no, he stayed and he fought. And who stayed at Manchester United longer after he signed them? It was obviously Paul Scholes. So it's that mentality and that hard-working ethic that's going to get you far in football. Throwing your toys out of the pram straight away when a manager says something that you don't like isn't going to cut it. And it shouldn't cut it at a club like Manchester United, regardless of how much we're in the mud right now, how much is wrong at this club and how on its knees it is right now and desperate to try and clamour and be professional and try and bolster ourselves to a level that we should be at. Never mind we think we should be at, that we should be at as a standard. The way to do it is to be professional and fight fire with water, not fight fire with fire. And you know, there's that old adage that if you saw two people arguing on the street, who looks the bigger fool? They both do. If Ten Hag is the one arguing and Sancho walks away and solves it another way, you know, it's on Ten Hag, isn't it, at the end of the day? The only way you can prove your manager wrong is by getting into the starting lineup. Sancho isn't doing enough, clearly. Rashford isn't really pulling up any trees either. He's not great form. I know he scored against Arsenal, but as a number 9, for me, he has absolutely been terrible. Anthony's getting a lot of pelters, even though he's probably been, especially defensively, maybe not attacking, our best forward player. Garnacho's come in and done little bits. Martial isn't. He's nothing. He's terrible. And it's a shame to see him so low as he is, but let's be honest, the sooner he goes, the better. I'm so happy that he's near the end of his contract. I will be absolutely honest with you. So there's a chance there to get in this top 3. And I think if you're still not being able to do it, what is going wrong? You've come on against Wolves and you've shown some impetus and you've shown, you know, willing. And you looked quite good, Jadon. I will give it to you. You looked brilliant in points and a lot better and showing the signs of life that I've wanted for you for a while. The fact you're not even starting any games, especially after we get beat by Spurs so badly, and we had Nottingham Forest at home, and then, you know, you can talk about Arsenal away and a tougher game. The fact you're not getting into any of these games really does show me something isn't quite right. And listen, people and media outlets now are starting to go down the route of mental health, and I think that's dangerous to start doing stuff like that. Yes, we know Ten Hag allowed Sancho 2 or 3 months off for whatever reasons he had, and that's absolutely brilliant from the manager's point of view because he's backing the player and he's giving him the chance to sort himself out, to come back in the team and be an asset. That's absolutely fine. I think if there is something deeper with Jadon Sancho, again, we need to figure it out and we need to help him. That's absolutely fine. What I hate to see is that the media start jumping on the back of Ten Hag and the daggers are out for Ten Hag for him saying something that is football related. That's all he's done. He's said that I don't feel that he's hitting the levels I require in training. That is nothing but football related. He's not said anything else. He's not said anything about his character or why he's not hitting the levels or you know, outside activities, outside influences. He said nothing of the sort. And I think media jumping on that now and starting to say, you know, well, look what happened to Dele Alli 6 months ago or 6 weeks ago, however long it was, is really dangerous to start following that narrative when we don't know the ins and outs and we are all guessing what is going on. All we can take is the manager's word at the moment, and he's saying that he doesn't feel Jadon Sancho is hitting the levels that he requires. And obviously Sancho's fighting back on that, but for me, he's doing it the wrong way. I just think, listen, it would have been nice to have the international break with no drama and just get over the Arsenal defeat and go on to Brighton. That's obviously not going to happen now, and we're probably going to see, I know I'm doing a video on it. I just feel like I needed to come back after you know, kind of being a little bit upset and angry at the situation over the weekend, Sunday, Monday. Take a bit of time just to think it through a little bit differently and a different angle, you know, try and see both sides and try and figure out where I stand with it, I guess. And we're going to see a lot of it, I know, and it's going to be dissected to death. I just think everyone just needs to have a calm head and really not trying to pick a side or a false narrative and try and direct it in one direction when it doesn't need to. at the end of the day, I support Manchester United, and what I'm more focused on and what I feel is more important is that Manchester United is okay. And, you know, players come and go, managers come and go. At the end of the day, it's Manchester United's name. And we are already in enough trouble with these owners. We are already seeing this season, and the positivity from last season is all being drained away. And we are fighting now in this league that is really, really competitive. There's so many teams that want to fight. There's so many teams that are improving. We need to be there as well. And I think for the season not to derail and for the season not to jump off a cliff, everyone needs to band together. And the fan base, the players, the manager, we all need to come together now to make sure this season can get back on track. And this just wasn't needed. I think it's a situation that could have been really avoided very, very easily with calm heads. And listen, football is an emotive sport, and we all get angry, we all get upset. We all hate those lows and we love those highs. Sometimes just take a minute, take 10 seconds, have a think before you press send or before you say something, and just try and come at it at a more calm and different angle. And I think hopefully Sancho, that isn't the end. I know I said over the weekend, get him over to Turkey, send him to Turkey, that's it, I'm done. That's the easy option, isn't it? And I think, you know, he's just been named in the Champions League squad for Manchester United. That may just be a given anyway. But I'd hate to think that's the end of the tunnel. And I think there is, you know, other stuff is happening. Does that now give him a chance to get back in the team? I think listen, it is what it is, isn't it? And I think we're only going to see in time. You know, it's. I didn't think this video would be as emotional and probably affect me as much as it did, this whole issue. But I just think with Jadon Sancho, he's had a hard time with it, I think, regardless, you know, of what he's doing on the pitch. And for me, a Manchester United player that I like and I want to do well, I'll like to give him another chance. And I think if Ten Hag can do the same and try to get him playing the way we think he can, I think that's only going to be a benefit for Manchester United. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about this and try and clear the air and maybe clear my own thoughts on the situation. So, you know, thank you for sticking by and having a listen and a watch. I really do appreciate that. And if you liked it, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully it's a bit more of a more positive video and we're talking about something a little bit better. But yeah, take it easy and come on United. Not come on United, just let's go United.